school. 2025, I'm talking about.
Rookie mistake. Welcome back, everybody, to Clinical FC. I'm your host, Dr. Ill. As y'all can see, it's nighttime, so I'm trying not to keep y'all here too long, but I got a few things for us to talk about. If you guys can hear me, let me know down in the comment if you can hear me, and we can keep going. Good now? Appreciate you, Marcus. We're always a real one, as always, bro. Always. Appreciate that. Right. So, first thing I wanted to get into, right? Like, do people actually rate the Community Shield, right? Because some certain fan bases want to rate the Carabao Cup, but they want to throw shade on the Community Shield, right? So I'm trying to figure out, how does that work? Because if you want to put a Carabao trophy, right? If let's say you want to claim a Carabao trophy as a trophy, right? You have to take into the context of how you got to that trophy, right? You have to take into context of how you win trophies, right? And that will also explain to people how hard it is to win a certain trophy over the other one. And also, I believe that each season is different as well. So one season where you can win a Carabao Cup, that Carabao Cup you won that season can be worth less than a Carabao Cup won by a different team in a different season. So it can be two trophies, but one is just worth less because of the context of how the team got to it. Like, if, for example, Swansea that won the Carabao Cup, I'm not even sure what the year was. It's a couple of years back. But Swansea that won it, in my opinion, that's a much, I would say, a bigger achievement than winning Manchester United's Carabao Cup of last year. Like, come on. Manchester United spent £270 million last year in the summer. And you're leaving with a Carabao Cup and you're trying to tell me, oh, it is an achievement for that season. After spending 270, you guys must be joking. But when Mikel can come in and win an FA Cup in his first 6 months without spending anything, people don't even speak about that. What they will say is that he finished 8th that season. What about the FA Cup he won without spending any money? Come on, man. But in my opinion, if Manchester United fans want to rate the Carabao Cup and say, oh, they're the most successful team in England, they are the most successful team in England. If they want to rate the Community Shield, then by claiming that, because the only way they top Liverpool by, I think it's like one trophy or like one or two trophies, right? The only way they topped them like that is because Manchester United has, I think they have 21 Community Shields, and Liverpool have 16. So that's a 5 shield difference. And that is what Manchester United fans use to claim they are the most successful team in England. So unless y'all are ready to give Liverpool the title of being the most successful team in England, you have to rate the Community Shield for every team. It doesn't have to just be for y'all. You have to rate it for every team. And people can say, "Oh, it's a glorified friendly, it's this and that." To me, that's just way too much disrespect. As long as you don't see the both managers making wholesale changes at the 45 minute, the 45 minute mark, which is halftime. If you don't see coaches making 7 changes at once, 6 changes at once, you can't really say, "Oh, he's just a friendly that doesn't matter." That is what happens in friendlies. This game, what I saw from this game, because I watched the game back in detail yesterday, what I saw from this game was two managers who were trying to win without giving each other, I would say, much of a leeway, right? So let us go into, let's say, let's go into yes, let's go into the actual story of the game, right? So watching this game back yesterday was like going to school. Watching Arteta to like play against each other is a chess game. It's a chess game. So let me I would say it further illustrate what I'm trying to say, because I'm trying to explain it in a way that I could use lineups and people will understand what I'm saying. If the club wins Community Shield, they rate it. If Arsenal wins it, they don't. You see, like this is what like this is what I'm trying to get at exactly. If Manchester United fans can win the Community Shield, they're gonna rate it 100%. When it comes to us, they don't. Nobody wants to rate anything that Arsenal does, because we just live rent free in everybody's head. Nobody wants to rate us. That's fine. Soon you guys will be forced to rate us. You'll be forced. There will be nothing you can say. I am already seeing rival fans already accepting the fact that Saliba might be generational. Like, bro, are you guys just realizing that shit? Like, come on, bro. What kind of nonsense is that? Yeah. But so the actual story of the game, right? Right. Let me see. Let's go in. Right. This game, in terms of Mikel Arteta's performance, right? I will give him an 8 out of 10 for this performance. I'm only giving him an 8 because it's a Community Shield. So it is not a, like I would say, it's not a Premier League game where Man City is fit, Arsenal is fit, and they're both going head to head. Clearly, Manchester City had lower fitness than us, right? Clearly, it was clear to see. They could not match our energy, right? They could not match our energy. But that couldn't just only be down to fitness, because if you ask me, if you look at City's current midfield right now with Kovacic instead of Gundo, Kovacic has never really had legs like that to get about the pitch. So I would say being able to being able to I'm trying to figure out a way to put this, because Kovacic is not the most physical player, and he's and at this point in his career, he's like what, 29 going on 30, right? So even in Chelsea, he had never really had legs, right? So that could be one of the reasons why they couldn't even keep up with us. Because in the first half, who did they really have in the middle? They had Rodri, Cover, and Alvarez as their midfielders, right? So If those are gonna be your three, just be ready for your midfield to be getting bypassed, which is what we were able to do, right? But we played this game different to any other Manchester City game that we've played, right? I was one of the people who during or let's say around the time of the 4-1 game where we played Manchester City and they completely whooped our ass, right? I was one of the people that I would say commended Mikel Arteta for going toe to toe with Pep, because to me, I don't like fear in my team. I don't like any of my players feeling scared to play against another team. That I've never liked that. If you're going into a game with any opposition, you have to believe that you can win that game. So them going toe to toe with them, believing that in their ability, I would say, to keep the ball, even though it didn't work, them believing that enough to try that at that point, I give them credit for that. But the way Mikel Arteta played this game was the fucking right way. Now he is able to play this type of game, yes, because we have three signings that we didn't have before. So which is why I'm going to give him props for them, because we didn't have the players to play this game, and going toe to toe with them, I always take that as a prop. I need no fear in my players. I need no fear in my players. Please. Right. This game started off with Arsenal giving City possession. Pretty much. We gave City possession to test our defensive line. Pretty much. To see how up against the best possession team in Europe, how can our defense hold up? Now, keep in mind, this best possession team in Europe is not 100% fit. KDB didn't start, Keep in mind that. But from minute, yeah, let me even show y'all. So this is how Arsenal started off the game, the Arsenal 11. This one right here. This was how we started off the game. 4-4-3-3, Rice Odegaard in the eights, right? Then this is how Manchester City started off the game. Okay, let me add that one. All right. All right. Yeah, this is how Arsenal started off the game right here. This is how Man City started off the game right here. Yeah. So Man City had Kovacic and Alvarez in the eight, but Alvarez was more like a second striker than anything. We had Bernardo on the right, Grealish on the left, Akanji, Diaz, Stones, and Walker, right? So we gave them possession to build up. So when Man City were building up, right, Man City used this composition of players. Yeah. Right. So Arsenal pressed Man City high, right? In their build up. Arsenal pressed Man City high with Kai Havertz and Odegaard as the front press. If you watch the game, you will see they press them in a 4-4-2 diamond formation, right? And if you see that because this is how genius that is, right? Kai Havertz, Odegaard as the two front man to trigger the press. Right then, just behind them, you have Declan Rice. Declan Rice was kind of like the center point in the X. If you see Kai Havertz, Rice, Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Martinelli, that's X that's created blocked out any passes through the middle. That X is now supported by Thomas Partey behind. So if any ball even manages to get through that middle, Partey is even there. So that was how we were able to completely nullify Man City through the middle. That this is in a high press, right? So as Man City kept on coming forward with the ball, because with City, even if you press them, they will find a way to build up and get out. But if you see the way City was building up, they had what's his name? They had Kyle Walker all the way out on the right side by himself, and they were trusting Akanji more in possession, right? But from time to time, they kind of switched in terms of which full back they wanted to build with. They could build with um Akanji, now, then later on they can build with Kyle. But most of the first half, they were building with Akanji and leaving Kyle Walker open by himself, which is why you will see in that first half our X press, which is what I will call it, or our 4-4-2 diamond press, was leaning more. It was leaning more towards Akanji's side because that was where they were building up from. Martinelli was giving Kyle Walker enough room because I am not sure why City chose to go with Manuel Akanji because he's better on the ball, but he's still Kyle. He's still Kyle freaking Walker. So maybe that is their mistake in doing that. But hey, we profited from that. So they always had to go out to the left, and they couldn't come through our middle because of that. That press was just, let me know if call it a press. It wasn't really a press. It was more like I would call it a block. So in a high block, mid block, and mid to low block, that was what we played them in. Let me not call it a press because we weren't really chasing after them. We were more just trying to stifle their passing lanes. So I will call that more of a block than a press, right? So from the high block, we moved to a mid block as City progressed up the field, and now our mid block is a 4-4-2. So it's straight Partey and Rice in midfield. Then as City, kept possession and wanted to control, right? So City control possession, and as they're controlling possession, they're trying to find spaces in your attack, right? Kovacic, right? Yesterday he played like a hybrid 8 to 10 role. That is what I would say, kind of like a hybrid 8 to 10. When Man City had, I would say, full control and pinned us all the way back, Mateo Kovacic moved from the 8 position into the 10 position and tried to find more of those intricate passing. But like I said, that didn't work. Rice, Odegaard, in that mid block. Let me show you what happens. Because from that mid block, as Man City kept pushing us, we went back into a mid to low block. Now, in our mid to low block, this is how it looks like, right? So Rice and Partey completely shielding off the back line completely. Martinelli and Saka were more tucked in with Rice and Partey, but they had license to shuffle right and left to stop off any passes to Akanji or any passes to Walker. Then inside, any passes to Grealish, Saka was also supposed to cover that. Any passes to Alvarez, Martinelli was supposed to cover that, right? In that mid to low block. But this shield right here, Man City could not penetrate this. The whole first half. In my opinion, Arsenal won the first half in terms of I would say in terms of the tactical game, right? Because what 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 we can definitely take away from this game, we might not take Arsenal is a better team than City, but in terms of the tactics played in the game and how I would say they worked relative to each other, that is what we can take from this game at least, because that we can see, I would say we can kind of think about other teams that we can play down the line that also want to control possession and want to pin us back, maybe like a Brighton or something like that. So when we face teams that control possession and gonna try to create any type of passing lanes to break down your low block and score, if we have this crop of players playing, I just don't think people are gonna get through a lot. Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, and White were more narrow. They were more like a 4 center back inside, while I would say Saka and Martinelli were kind of like giving them the width in terms of, like I said, Kyle Walker and Manuel Akanji, right? So when Arsenal was able to get out of, were able to win the ball back and build up, we built up, I would say, with Urian Timber going into the 8th, right? Over here. So instead of making Rice go forward as an 8, Mikel Arteta is smart. Mikel Arteta said Rice is not ready for that yet, but we're going to start using Rice off as a 6. Then he can learn to be an 8 later on. But if anybody watched my Urian Timber review, if anybody watched that, when I was watching him, I said, bro, this guy is playing like a midfielder. He could play right back, he could play CDM, and if we're desperate, he could play in the 8. I said that. Mikel Arteta is smart. He knows Timber is already a beast, bro. He knows Timber is already like a gadget guy. He can do anything. So he said, you can start off being our, left back, left full back, right? But once we have the ball, instead of sending Rice forward, or instead of inverting Timber and setting Rice forward, there's no need to invert Timber. You can just use Rice there. Send Timber to the 8, where he can be more effective than Declan Rice. Mikel Arteta is a genius. But moving on. Because in my opinion, we had the better chances in that first half. If anybody else thinks differently or thinks the same way, if you agree with me, let me know as well. Let me go into the comments. Oh yeah, what's good, brother? Arsenal held their own against that City, which in itself is an improvement on last season. Just need to maintain consistency in the league. 100% right. That was what I was able to take away from that game as well. We were able to hold our own for sure, especially with that defensive performance in the first half. That really showed me that, bro, we are, oh Lord, like Man City couldn't get through our middle. They had to go around. Every shot they had in the first half was outside the box, and it was a snapshot. It was out. It was Rodri blocked off by Rice that went wide. Then it was I'm pretty sure it was Julian Alvarez touch, turn, and shot. Then I'm pretty sure it was Rodri trying to chip Ramsdale. Then that's it. Those three shots that Manchester City had in the first half. That's what's it called? ITV, one of the ITV, one of the English media outlets, right? from that whole first half, when they were making the highlights of this game, they showed City's chances and didn't show any of Arsenal's chances in the first half. They didn't show any of our chances in the first half when we had the better chances in the first half. Kai should have scored at least once. And I'm pretty sure maybe Martinelli also had an opportunity to score as well, if I'm not mistaken. So we could have already gone into the second half 1 goal ahead at least. Timber, man of the match for me. Can't believe how versatile he is, bro. Even me, I can't believe it, bro. Even that day I was doing a review. I was supposed to do his stats. I told you. I was just watching him play. I was like, I don't need stats. I don't need stats no more. Because this guy, I see him moving like a midfielder, and Mikel sees it too. So moving forward though. Now, the first shot on target that Manchester City had in that game was a John Stones header from a corner. That's in the second half. I'm pretty sure this was like the 50-something minutes. It was like 10 minutes into the second half. That's the first shot there on goal that they had. First shot on goal, right? But they did come out differently in the second half, right? They moved Bernardo more from his wide position, more into the middle. So let me show you. Right. This was kind of how, I would say maybe like 5 to 10 minutes into the second half, this was the composition of City's team, because I don't think they made any subs right at halftime. I seriously doubt that, because but Palmer came in for, if I'm not mistaken, Kovacic. Then KDB came in for Haaland, I think. Yeah. So Bernardo came back into the middle 8, right? While Palmer held the width on the right side, right? So when they built up using these composition of players, they built up with 3 at the back. Bernardo became the left back. Bernardo Silva. This is not the first time that we're seeing him play at full back. Pep has done this lots of times, but that tells you the kind of player Bernardo Silva is. He's playing that left inverted fullback position just so he can have a full view of the field. So he can pick the right passes at the right time to the right people. You can trust Bernardo Silva to do that. So he brought Bernardo all the way to the full back position, right? Brought Foden in for Grealish and moved Foden into the eighth position, right? So if you go look at the goal that we conceded, right? If you go look at it, this composition of Man City players, this. Give me 1 second. I gotta take this call. I'll be right back.